Hi guys, it's Jacob from Stringbuzz here, stringbuzzworld.org being a music journalism site, links are in the description down below. And we have a brand new song review for you today, and it's the latest track by Blink-182, and that's Parking Lot. So I'm going to refer to the original article as I usually do for these videos, so I hope you enjoy. So after being incredibly disappointed by the California album as a whole, and beginning to lose faith in Skiba as an addition to the group, I went into this track at least hopeful that it couldn't really get too much worse. The last album suffered from mass overproduction, a severe lack of riffs, and just a lack of melodic direction. Blink are known for creating catchy, simple tracks which possess relatable themes to a younger audience, but they are not poets. Far from it, and they tried way too hard just to be, to be their younger selves, and I just don't think it really worked out. Shall we see what I thought of this brand new track? Well, it's fine, and it's certainly better than a lot of what we did hear on that California album, but it's still lacking that little something. I think Skiba showcases a good set of pipes on this track, but I still feel like he's trying way too hard to sound like Hoppus instead of keeping his natural vocal tone, which he's had in other groups before. I get that it's a slightly different style than what he's used to doing, but this sounds a little bit too forced for me. The instrumentals are fine, but are a little bit too overproduced for me. But where the track really suffers, though, is lack of imagination. The lyrics on this track are so corny and cheesy that I found them a little laughable, really, especially in the chorus, basically what I mentioned earlier before diving further into this review. So even though it's an improvement, I still must admit I'm disappointed. Production-wise, the track sounds fine, but the vocals are just too clean for me. They've been overtly noise-gated to the extent the grit is entirely gone. The only thing punky about this track is that the vocals are fairly shouty. Other than that, it's mixed like an average pop song. I will admit that the drums do sound fairly decent here, and the kick in particular drove that low end really well throughout the track's runtime. The guitar, though, is immensely limp, with one of the weakest overdriven tones we've had this year. I know the majority of the album suffered from that flaw, but this just takes the cake, really. All in all, a pretty shoddy production cycle, and it's obvious to me that this group have lost all the punkiness they once had. Moving on to the musicality of this track, sure, Blink have never been known for being too technical or complex, but Tom did supply some pretty fun, catchy little phrases and guitar riffs that are now staples of the early 2000s pop-punk movement. This, however, yet again, is just all strummed by Skiba and strummed without any direction. If Travis didn't basically play those tasty fills during the transitions on this track, you'd never spot the difference between any sections here. It's flurried without being catchy or aggressive. I think Skiba puts in a decent vocal performance here, as I've already said, and the vocal melodies are pretty strong, but he needs to find his natural tone again, something a bit more recognisable and memorable. As for the bass, it's more of your usual strumming, and I guess I kind of expected that. The drums are a highlight for me, though, as I've already mentioned, and they just seem to be a little bit more technical and out of the ordinary in comparison to your average pop-punk track, but the rest of the song is just a glorified pop track with instrumentals, or organic instrumentals rather than synth. Lyrically, this song is pretty darn awful and very, very cliche. I don't know why the group are still trying so hard to come across as teenagers and appeal to that demographic. The majority of their fans are adults now. They are elder adults now themselves, and I want to hear a more mature pop-punk group coming to terms with their plot in life. Not desperately trying to be an edgy teen all the time, but instead embrace who they now are. I think that'll be much more interesting to really flesh out in a track like this. So all in all, the track is fine, and fans will probably think it's a fairly decent outing, especially if they like the California album. You're going to like this, additional track on that deluxe album. But for me, I just can't see anything here that would pull in the casual listener. So I gave it a G rating of 5 out of 10, which is completely average. So if you like this review, then please leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye-bye.